Sometimes when I hold this and look through it, I feel like Indiana Jones looking through his father's Grail diary. But it's really just a bunch of notes I took on WrestleManias. And a picture I drew of Triple H.
You're watching So Awkward. This is Freddy Krueger saying hi!
WrestleMania 14. Another solid WrestleMania. We've had a pretty decent string of pretty good WrestleManias. March 29th, 1998, at the Fleet Center in Brooklyn, New York. In Boston, Massachusetts. I can't read my handwriting in the Grail Diary. It opened with a bang with a 15-team battle royal. It was 30 guys, 15 tag teams, having it out in a battle royal. You know, traditional battle royal rules, except for, I think, if one member of the team was eliminated, then they're both eliminated. Too complicated. Too many stipulations. I realize that's just one stipulation, but too complicated. The winners were Legion of Doom. It was fine. I can't get too excited about battle royals. Next up was for the light heavyweight title, which I put in quotes and followed with a question mark because I don't know what that is. I've certainly never heard of that. I don't know if we'll ever hear about that again. But it was a Japanese wrestler called Taka Inoku versus a Latin American wrestler named Aguila. This was a really good match. It was a quality match. A lot of high-flying stuff. I imagine that back in 1998, this was probably mind-blowing stuff. Very few people then had probably were familiar with like Japanese style or luchador wrestling. And as it goes, this was decent high-flying luchador stuff. But today, this is kind of boring. We've like with somebody like Rey Mysterio or the Lucha Underground, like we see this stuff all the time. Better than this. But I mean, for its time, this was a quality match. Even though I don't know who these two were, and I don't think anybody knew who these two were. But it was a kind of a novelty match that was fun. These two put on a pretty good show. Up next was a match for the European Championship, which I believe is making its debut at WrestleMania. I don't know what that one is. That doesn't exist anymore either. Didn't exist when I was a kid. But it was champion Triple H with Chyna, who was handcuffed to Sergeant Slaughter at ringside to stop her from getting into any shenanigans. Versus Owen Hart. Thumbs up. Big thumbs up. This was awesome. Two legends of wrestling. Owen Hart, one of my all-time favorites. Triple H, an icon at this point. Great wrestler. Just both of them having a great match with Chyna and Sergeant Slaughter at ringside, handcuffed each other. She kept trying to do some stuff, and he kept holding her back. Then finally, I think she threw like salt in Sergeant Slaughter's eyes, which distracted him, so she was able to grab Owen Hart's leg. So Triple H put him in the pedigree and had the win. This was a lot of fun. I liked it a lot. Up next was another weird mixed tag team. It was Goldust and Luna Vachon, who has made more appearances at WrestleMania than I would have expected when I first saw her, versus Mark Marrow and his wife Sable. When this match started, I literally thought to myself, am I allowed to skip these matches? But I watched it because I didn't want to ruin the integrity of WrestleMania Wednesday. I have to watch every WrestleMania from start to finish in its entirety, no skipping. And I'm glad I didn't skip it because this match was awesome. I didn't really watch wrestling at this time, so I don't know much about Mark Marrow. And I know of Sable from like her appearances as like a model. So I just expected this match to be crap. But Sable is legit. She was amazing. She was an amazing athlete. She was an amazing wrestler. I was just really impressed with Sable. I thought she was a total badass. She was amazing. And she won by putting Luna Vachon in the F5. Brock Lesnar's move where he takes somebody and he throws him like a pizza in the air and drops him, which shows off how incredibly strong he is. They referred to it as the TKO and said it was her husband's move, but it was the F5. So Sable was doing the F5 before Brock Lesnar ever did. And funny little fact there, Sable is now married to Brock Lesnar. So I don't know if there's some connection there. Then we had kind of a weird thing where Jeff Jarrett came out with Jennifer Flowers. Anybody remember Jennifer Flowers? She was one of the women who had an affair with Bill Clinton. Why was she at WrestleMania? I don't know. They didn't do anything. They just came out to the ring. Maybe she said something and then they left. But that was weird. Jennifer Flowers. Okay. Then we had the match for the Intercontinental title. It was the champion, The Rock, versus Ken Shamrock. This match was badass. This was awesome. This was great. I love The Rock. Ken Shamrock is underrated. And it was just a brawl. Ken Shamrock kind of just beat the crap out of him, tore him up. And he put him into, I think, like an ankle lock or something. And The Rock tapped. That's right, The Rock tapped out. He quit. But then Ken Shamrock just went crazy and kept beating him up. And he started beating up, like, the officials. And then, like, the paramedics came and they took The Rock away on a stretcher, and Ken Shamrock knocked him on the stretcher and started beating him up again. So the officials reversed the decision and said he's not the champion, he's disqualified, though The Rock retained the title. A little swerve there. But anyway, it was pretty satisfying, and you could tell they were trying to set up like a heel turn for Shamrock as some major villain. I'm not sure how that pans out, because I didn't watch wrestling at this time, but I like Ken Shamrock, and he's one of those people. It's just fun watching him destroy people, because he does it well, even when it's The Rock. Then we have the tag titles on the line. Champions, the New Age Outlaws versus Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie, Terry Funk, in a dumpster match. I'm sure there are a lot of people who love this match. This is probably a really good match for what it was. I'm not a huge fan of these weird, hardcore gimmick matches, where people are bloody and they just beat each other up with weapons and, and this one they actually had a dumpster next to the ring, and the premise is you have to get your opponents, both of them, into the dumpster and close the lid to win the title. Stupid. But not stupid in a fun way, stupid in kind of like a sadistic, mean way. I'm not a huge fan of this kind of match. But if you're going to watch this kind of match, these four guys are the four guys you should be watching. Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie won, as well they should. Up next was one of the weirdest moments of the night. It was they brought up Pete Rose, and he basically just massacred Boston. Talking about how the Red Sox suck, all their sports teams are terrible, they can't win any titles. This is before they won the World Series again. So then the lights come down, and Kane walks out and confronts Pete Rose, and he puts Pete Rose in the tombstone and basically murders him. I love when they have little comedy bits between matches, if they're quick and if they're funny. And this was quick, and it was very funny. Good for Pete Rose. Hall of Famer. Not the Baseball Hall of Fame. He'll never get in the Baseball Hall of Fame, but he is in the WWE Hall of Fame. And that led into the Kane versus Undertaker match, which, awesome. I don't think I need to say too much about this one. Just, and as rivalries go, this is one of the all-time greats. As in-ring chemistry goes, very few teams can beat Kane and Undertaker. Just two great wrestlers who were born to wrestle each other on the grandest stage of all, WrestleMania. This is a good one. I like it a lot. And then finally, we have the main event, which is champion Shawn Michaels defending against Stone Cold Steve Austin. Shawn Michaels has Mike Tyson in his corner. He's the ring enforcer or something, some title like that, I don't know, but he was wearing a DX shirt, which was Shawn Michaels' Sable at the time, and he was clearly in Shawn Michaels' corner. Now, Shawn Michaels, like I have the Mr. WrestleMania DVD, which has commentary and little interviews with Shawn Michaels, and he has very disparaging things to say about this match, mostly because of his back was terrible at this time, and after this match he actually goes into semi-retirement. So he's not proud of this match, and Steve Austin has said some disparaging things about this match as well, saying it didn't live up to his expectations, and he's not very proud of it. I don't know what match those two lived or watched, but this match is awesome. It's two of my all-time favorite wrestlers just going at it. You can't tell that Shawn Michaels is injured. I think it's up to his high level of quality that you come to expect from a Shawn Michaels WrestleMania match. I think it's a great match. I think it's great fun. Stone Cold versus Shawn Michaels. Stone Cold prevails. He becomes champion finally. The Attitude Era officially starts. The era of Stone Cold has begun. Even Mike Tyson comes around and is now in Stone Cold's corner, and which Shawn Michaels is not happy about, so Mike Tyson knocks him out. That was pretty great, pretty satisfying. I love this match. Just from start to finish, it was a great story. Just two of the all-time best in-ring performers, even though they both think they weren't at their best, and maybe they weren't. I mean, this is not my favorite Stone Cold match. It's not my favorite Shawn Michaels match, but I still love it. I still think it's a great match. So that's WrestleMania 14. I think it's one of the better WrestleManias we've watched so far. There was something for everybody. There was comedy, there was romance, there was action, there was wrestling, a little bit of wrestling in there too. No Bret Hart, but we did have Owen Hart, who is just as good, maybe even better. Some might even say better. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next Wednesday. I'll write it down in my Grail diary or something. I hope the Nazis don't try to steal this and get the secrets of WrestleMania.